Hi, and welcome back to HUR at Home. Actually, this is Music and More Night. We have been away for a little while enjoying the holidays, but I sure did miss you. And so my producers and I, actually my program director and I were thinking, okay, how do we kick this off right? Well, you bring in a superstar. So that's what we did. I'm not kidding. I don't know if you've been following us online, but I know you've been listening to the radio. And we've been talking about him all week. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to meet him. You're going to be as excited as we are. He's an actor, a producer, a director. You've seen him in many films. You've seen him on many television shows. And he's got something else to add to his career, which is pretty amazing. I'm going to let him tell you all about that. But please welcome actor. Like I said, he does it all. Eriq La Salle. What? Yes.
I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I'm just going to say thank you, goodbye. I can't live it.
No, don't say goodbye. We got a lot to talk about.
Thank you.
It's funny. Do you know how happy I am to meet you? We've been talking about you for the last couple of weeks when we talked to your people and heard that it was actually a go. So just congratulations on everything.
Oh, thank you, sister. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. So you came on my radar, of course, which I'm sure maybe many people with ER. And, you did your thing. And you were on there for how many years?
8 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. 8 years. It was a good run. Yeah.
A good run at a time when, you didn't see a whole lot of African-American males in prominent roles like that.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there are so many stories that you have about on set and the timing of it.
Yeah. I think now it's a different generation and a different time. I only hope that the younger generation, the people that's doing it now, just as our generation, we always knew the people that came before us. Right. We always knew the opportunities they didn't have and the opportunities that we got. And I think now I hope that there's a balance of people understanding that, it's a whole lot different than it was, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It was a huge difference. And so, Blair Underwood was, LA Law. He was really one of the first. That was a year or two before me. And but we had very few examples. Now there are a ton, we had very few. So I've always tried to honor that position, when you're in it, because there weren't a lot of us. And to be on a network show, to be a lead on a network show was not the thing. Now it's the thing, but it wasn't.
Yeah. And just thank you. I mean, for all that you do and all that you've done. And like you said, you've paved the way. Shout out to all the people who are watching and commenting. That's the only way we know you're here, if you take the time to comment and tell all of your friends, Eriq La Salle is on the show. Just tell them to tune in. And by the way, this is going to live on WHUR's YouTube page, our web page, our Facebook page forever. So if they missed it, tonight, they'll see it later. Monica, love you in ER. Ward, he's a fellow Hartfordite. Okay.
In the house. There you go.
Is that what they call you guys, Hartfordites?
Hartfordite. I never heard it, but I'll take it. Yeah. What's up?
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit before the show. You're from Hartford, but you've lived many places. You went from Hartford to New York.
Yeah, Hartford went to Juilliard for 2 years. So that's what brought me to New York. And then after I left Juilliard, I went to NYU's grad school, did 2 years there. Was in New York for 14 years, then moved to LA. I recently, a couple of years ago, lived mainly in Chicago, although LA is my base, but I was the executive producer and the principal director for Chicago PD. So I ran that show for 3 years. So I was, pretty much living there, but I'm based in LA and love LA.
Yeah. So you've got so much experience in front of and behind the camera. Mm-hmm. Directing and producing, is that something you want to do more of?
Well, I mean, it is definitely my make the driving force for me right now. Obviously, I'm taking on yet another thing. But the bottom line is this: I consider myself extremely blessed to be a storyteller. So
Mm,
I think, I don't put like a title of I'm an actor, I'm a director, I'm a producer. I think everything falls under the umbrella of storytelling. And as long as I get to tell stories in different ways, whether it's acting, whether it's producing, whether it's
mm,
writing, whether it's directing, I'm blessed to do what I'm really passionate about, and that's I don't take that lightly. I don't take it for granted. It is a huge blessing. And I mean, as corny as it sounds, you always say if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
yeah,
And I mean, the art part, quite honestly, artists would do it for free.
yeah.
I'd act for free, I'd direct for free, I'd write for but I mean, it's great that we make great money doing it, but no, let's not get it twisted. But
He's home. He's not trying to give his house away.
no, not trying. But I'm just not trying to compromise myself on my next deal. But what
But I,
I'm saying is, I'm saying that it's just really the passion of being able to tell stories, and so I get really excited. So when you ask me what do I want to do, it's hard for me to say, oh, I'm going to just do this, just do that. I'm fortunate. I'm still in love. Being an artist is my first love, and I'm still in love with that girl. I'm still in love with the first girl I fell in love with, which is
that's
art. You know
beautiful.
what I mean? And
Yes.
so, yeah, so that's the
And
best.
it's on many forms. So I gave this big tease in the beginning, and I can't wait any longer. Eriq, you are a brilliant writer. I
Oh,
heard about your book and I was like, okay, let's just check it out. So I downloaded it to my Kindle and I
okay.
just figured, okay, this is just, somebody who just wants to dip your, toe into the writing
Right.
world and see how it goes. And I was prepared to give you a pass and an A for effort. Oh my gosh, I am so into your book, Laws of Depravity.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, I hate to say I wasn't expecting it to be that
No,
good.
no, I get it. No, I get it. I get it. And that's a part of the goal, which is sort of changing the narrative. A lot of times people can only see you based on their own limitations.
Yeah.
So when I went from being an actor to a director, it actually took a couple of years for the industry to take me seriously. They
Yeah.
thought, oh, he's an actor, he's whatever, it's ego, it's this, it's that. And then it was like, oh, no, he's actually a good director.
Yeah.
And so now this is an even greater leap to be a novelist, which I do think is one of the most intimidating, absolutely one of the most intimidating things out there. But not only do I want to do it, my ego is such I think it's a healthy ego. I want to be taken seriously. I don't
Yeah.
like I'm not looking like no, I don't have a ghost writer. I don't have, like a lot of times celebrities will do these books and they'll get someone to kind of do it for them and they put their name and face on it. Every single word is mine, but it was
Wow.
important. It was important. And I used to tell my reps, right? I said, I want to be taken seriously as an
Yeah.
author. And I've been on this journey for 10 years, though. That's what a lot of people don't know. So
No,
that's
we didn't know any of this.
yeah.
This is, and you're right. To your point, people don't expect it because so many times I've been fooled. And, a person is doing one thing and they'll come out with a book and I'm that person. I want to support it,
Right.
so I'll get the book and then it's like, really? Okay. Thank you. But in your case, this is serious literature and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so lost in the book. I'm so into it, and for one thing, I'm Catholic. I was
Sure.
baptized as an infant, went to Catholic schools, Catholic church, all that stuff, and so it's got a particular interest to
Right.
me. So, without giving everything away, could you just tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about the book and what led you to go this route with this particular storyline?
Well, the great thing about being uh, a multi hyphenate, it sounds weird saying it, but the interesting thing about having different interests in storytelling is that they all feed each other. And so, for instance, the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman
Oh yeah.
is one of my favorite movies. And I think it's really, really cool, edgy, dark, well done, well shot, all of that. So I've always wanted to do something similar.
Yeah.
This book came about. I read an article, and it's not in the Bible, but it is widely known by biblical scholars that all of Jesus's disciples were brutally murdered. And we're not just talking about 12, we're talking about he had the lesser and the greater disciples, apostles, and they were probably 30 deep. They were hanged, they were crucified, they were beheaded, they were dragged, torn limb from limb by being dragged by horse. They died horrible, horrible deaths. And John was the only one who survived. And John was put into a vat of boiling oil, somehow miraculously survived, and then was banished to the Greek island of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelations.
Okay.
So anyway, I read this article and I'm going, wow, I never knew that. And you look it up, if you Google it right now, how did Jesus's disciples die? You'll see pages upon pages of information.
Never thought about it, but I'm going to Google it. Yeah, never thought.
Then I just got the idea. I said, wow, it would be really cool to come up with a modern day serial killer who kills his victims in the way that Jesus's apostles were killed.
Wow.
And so that was the genesis of it. And so I had to let that marinate for a month or two. I didn't know what was going to be the way into the world. I didn't know what I was going to do. Then I started thinking about my love for the movie Seven. And I said, I said, I'm going to come up with an African-American detective who's partnered with an Italian Irish American cop. They're the best closers in New York City. They close high profile cases and then pair them up with a white female FBI agent. So those were my protagonists. So in one way I had the bad guy first before I had my protagonist. And that's pretty much how, and then I wanted to, as with Seven, the killer preached a sermon with his kills. So they meant something. They just weren't these, just crazy, insignificant kills, but they really mean something. And so that was the genesis of the book. And it's never attacking. He targets clergy, but all types of clergy, some Catholic, some Baptist, Protestant. And so I'm not singling out one specific religion.
Okay. I'm just early in the book, so don't tell me too much.
Yeah, so it's really just about him preaching a sermon with these clergy and some of the, so that's where it came from.
And thank you to our producer for posting the name of the book, Laws of Depravity. Now, Laws of Wrath, that's coming out, in May?
Yeah, that comes out in May, maybe the first week of June. We're toying with that date because we have an event and we might want to launch the book based around that event.
Nice.
But so there are 4 books in the series. There's Laws of Depravity, Laws of Wrath, Laws of Annihilation, and then Laws of Solomon. Ooh. So every 6 months we will release a new book.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's really, really cool. And so now as we start doing publicity for Laws of Depravity, we start rolling into publicity for Laws of Wrath. And
very smart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Eriq, this is pretty awesome. I mean, it's so awesome. And I know, there are, like you said earlier in the conversation, these days are different from back in the day. Like when you were on ER and you were one of the firsts, there are a lot of African-American authors who are putting out really good material, and you're one of them. And I'm so excited for what you're doing. So how are you getting the word out, other than doing press? How are people finding out about it, and how is the book doing?
The book is actually doing very well. I'm old school. I believe in letting your work speak for itself to a degree. So I don't do a lot of bragging, but I will say, if you just kind of want to get a sense of how people are receiving the book, go to Amazon and read the most recent reviews. They get addicted to the book, and so when you hear, I can't put this down, it's a page Turner. I mean, a lot of times that's overused, but a lot
Yeah.
of times they go, I know it's overused, but this is the instance where I cannot put this book down. And I wanted to write something fast and gripping. I wanted to grab you from page one. I am not a person, a lot of times people will tell you, oh, you know, when you read this book, once you make it past the first 100 pages, then it gets really interesting. I'm like,
No,
well,
it's good from the first
I'm
page.
not going to stick around for 100 pages. So I write so that on my first page, you go, oh, wow. And then the trick is maintaining that intensity and that pace. And so the book is doing very well. I encourage your viewers to, like I said, go to Amazon, read what people are saying about it. We're doing a lot of, I'm leaving next Friday to go to New Orleans to headline the American Libraries Association.
Oh, nice.
Some really big events coming up. And so it's really about getting the word out. I think sometimes the challenge is this. I think sometimes people have to hear things about 5 times before they truly accept it. So people go, oh, Eriq La Salle is an author. Oh, okay. Eriq La Salle is an author. Oh, okay. Eriq La Salle is an author. This book is pretty good. It's around the 5th time that they start going, hold on. Well, okay, let me check it out.
Right.
And so our goal, obviously, with doing things, and I've admired your career for so long, and
Thank you.
so this has come sort of full circle because you've been one of those sisters that I'm like, I would love to be on her show at some point.
That's awesome.
Way back in the day, and so
BET days.
BET days, and so,
we were talking about you.
You brought the class to it. So I was like,
you.
So it was always, so now having the opportunity where you have something to say, you have something different to say. You're not just pubbing whatever, and you're pubbing something that's really interesting. It's great to come full circle in these situations. And so that's how we're getting the word out. We're getting the word out because, like you, quite honestly, a lot of people are surprised. They're surprised by the quality and the depth of the book. Yes. And I know you're just starting it. Trust me. There's some stuff you stick with. There's some stuff.
Wait, I'm telling you, you can ask my husband, like in the evenings, he'll, be on chess.com playing chess. I am curled up on the other side of the sofa reading my book on my Kindle, and it is so good. I mean, honestly, I promise you, when I finish, I will be one of those who are writing reviews. I want to write a review, and I want to encourage people to pick this book up. I mean, I can't tell you how proud I am of you for just stretching out, and this is uncharted territory for you, and it's good. I'm glad you took that leap, and it could be tricky. I mean, it could be if somebody steps out there in their career and they are terrible at it, people are judgy and it could hurt.
Absolutely. But the flip side of it is the narrative for me is not just the content of the book, which is hugely important because first and foremost, you have to entertain, you have to hit that mark. Yeah. But for an African-American, there's another part of the narrative, which is ownership. So this is about owning IP. This is about creating a franchise that is owned by the artist. Wow. And that's we're not taught that on a regular basis and on a macro level. And so for me, it's always been about ownership. So obviously the goal with the books is to reach, bestseller status and then turn the series into either a movie series or a television series. And guess who owns it, and guess who runs it, and guess who directs it, guess who produces it, guess who writes it. So it's all a part of this plan. But I encourage your viewers, for people that's thinking about doing things, think about how do you own, because a lot of times we are the best players on the team, but we're not necessarily the coaches and the owner, more importantly, the owners of the team. And so that's the other part of the narrative. So, but in order to do that, you have to succeed in the first thing, which is to write a compelling, interesting, well-written book.
That's it.
That people go, because people talk a lot, and sometimes when you check out their product, you're like,
really?
The talk was great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You pissed me off because I wasted my time reading your book.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're, and to your point, I'm so glad that you said that, because I love that you think outside of the box, that you think, several moves ahead. It's not just, let me just rush and put something out there, because, in these days of Instagram and, social media, everything is quick, it's fast. It's, let's just put something out there to make sure I'm out there and I'm seen and I'm not forgotten. You've taken the time and said, you know what, whatever time this takes for it to be quality, whatever research, whatever work I need to do to make sure this represents me, my ideals, my vision, and that it's quality. I so appreciate you for that. And, the work, it does speak for itself. I mean, I sound like I'm your publicist, but I'm glad that when I learned that I was going to be meeting you, I just wanted to, as I'm that girl, I want to find out everything I can about you, to have a quality conversation. And I wanted to read your book and just find out what kind of writer you are and to see what you're doing. And I just have to say, I'm just so proud of you. So keep going.
So much. It means a lot. And this is how we get the word out. But I have to be able to deliver. And I never want you compromising your name and reputation by co-signing, and then I don't deliver. And so I'm the same way. Like, sometimes people will ask me to do something and I'm hesitant. I'm like, this doesn't live up to my standards. And I feel so when I see something that does, I'm a big cheerleader.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, let's get this.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is really good. If it's not, to the point that you just made, I won't co-sign. I mean, I'll say something, but I won't be co-signing.
I'll be polite,
I figure all I have is my own word as well.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna say it's great if it's not.
Yeah.
So, what a wonderful thing that it is great. I just wish you so much success with this. I'm glad that you've got a good team who is putting you out there, putting the word out there. And, I know you don't like to brag on yourself, but that's what you get your marketing team to do. Tell them to just, from the rafters, let everybody know, because people need to know about this book so that they can.
Yeah, no, we've got a good team, and I'm particularly proud of this fact. The point people, the head people that's running my team, it's 3 sisters. And and so my agent is an African-American woman, my publisher is an African-American woman, and then there's been another young lady that's been added into the mix who is like really taking on the grassroots aspects of it. And she is just running with it. We just did this big event earlier this week, and moving books, awareness. She said, she called me today. People have been calling her. And so when you talk about the work, that's what it takes. But again, it's with the delivery. But I'm very, very happy and proud that I've got 3 sisters holding me down, because I've been on this journey for 10 years, and it wasn't always pretty. Trust me, the last 8.5 years, they weren't pretty. But you keep.
What do you mean? People like turning you down?
Oh, every publisher in town, not once, multiple times. I mean, we would read. So, someone new is working at Simon & Schuster. Let's send it to them.
Right.
That's it. And so
change the cover. That's one thing too. You change the cover.
Yes. Well, I ended up self-publishing. As I was so frustrated, I just self-published. I wanted to get the word out. So people started becoming a little bit aware, but then this publisher came along and said, we want to rebrand this thing. We want to remarket it, and we want to put it out. And so obviously now having a machine behind huge difference, and having smart, hardworking people that believe in you. It's just like I was telling a friend today, I said, I'm so high right now because of the energy and because of the people that believe in this book, this talent, me. What they're doing is all I've ever wanted, which is let me do my part and just have someone else to do what I can't do. I don't want any handouts. I want to earn it. I want to earn respect. I want to earn credibility. I want to earn it. And but you still need people to get you through the door.
That's right.
And so when you have the right people, and Raquel Henderson is my agent, and she's just been with me for 8-9 years, and she's been
Yeah.
kicking. And we finally have arrived, and now she introduced me to Lavelle Levette, and Lavelle has just taken it, and now we have Yona on the team. So we've got, like I said, I love these sisters, and I love what they're doing.
Yes.
And
That's so awesome. Well,
yeah.
continued success to you. Anything you want to shout out to your WHUR fans? Thank you, everyone who is on here, who is watching. Even if you haven't commented, even if you clicked on and clicked off, we so appreciate you. And any parting words you want to say to your fans?
No, I just, thanks for the moment. And one thing, again, with the books, knowing that you're asking someone to give up a day, a week, a month, 2 months of their time to read your book, earn their respect, earn it. And I never want someone to be like, oh, that was a waste of time. And so I do the work, and I've busted my ass and will continue to bust my ass, because when people get it, I want them to have the same surprised reaction that you have.
Yes. You're getting reactions.
People, I would encourage people that do read it. Yes, post reviews on Amazon. It really does help. It does help to spread the word, because it gives validation. Like, oh my God, this many people are raving, and I've got like tons of 5 stars, and and so that's really working. So I would encourage people to give it a chapter, and I think once you give it one chapter, you're sucked in. And it's not just for thriller fans, because that's another great thing, is that some people say, I don't even really, thrillers aren't my thing, but the book is a thriller, it's a spiritual quest, and a love story, all tied in. So you get, it's not just a thriller, and I'm really proud of that. So I would say, give it a read, go to Amazon, look at the reviews, post reviews, spread the word, and then we'll be back in another 5 months with the next book, and then 6 months after that, and 6 months after that. So, but I want to thank you, sister, for the opportunity, and like I said, this is kind of it's a great moment, because I've admired your work for so many years, and we spent our careers, in a similar time frame.
The same time frame. Yeah. So it's an honor. And promise me you'll come back. We can talk
Absolutely.
about
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And thank you for asking me, and I will be there. So
okay, that sounds wonderful. Eriq La Salle, thank you so much for joining us. WHUR, you always have a home whenever you're in Washington, D.C. Stop by the station. We'd love to put you on the air as well.
Absolutely. I will. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure.
This has been a pleasure. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Eriq La Salle here on HUR at Home. This has indeed been a pleasure. We appreciate all of you for watching. Make sure you tune into HUR at Home every Thursday night, and we bring you so many great artists and more. I'm your host, Angela Stribling. Follow me at Angela Stribling on all social media. Where can they follow you?
I'm on Instagram under Eriq La Salle. I'm on IG under Eriq La Salle, and I'm on Facebook. But
awesome! I just followed you, by the way. So
okay. I'll follow you back. Okay. There we go.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.
Okay. Take care. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.